Hello and welcome to the OLY Podcast show. We are serving ice cream today, but only a different flavour today. But before we get into that, we will get rid of the housekeeping. The SS20 has launched 2 weeks ago. Stock's getting low. I will continue to say, if you can get in and get your products that you want, get them now, because we are looking at a 6-week lead time to get stuff restocked just due to COVID. Use capital OLY Podcast to avail of 10% on every single product on our site. It is the only code, and I mean the only code that works that way, and no other code on our site gets discount in every single product, not even our influencer codes, not even our athlete codes. So avail of that if you can, guys. On to the show. So like I said, different flavour of ice cream today. Me and young Patrick sit down for probably our first conversation. It's actually the third podcast we've recorded, but our first one that we've put live. It's kind of a different flavour purely because me and Paddy wanted to give you a real insight into kind of who's producing these shows and what our journey has been, because at the end of the day, we're putting out all this content and trying our damnedest to help you in your own journey, and we love that, and we thought it would just be good for you guys to get an idea as to who's behind the shows themselves. So we talk about our own journeys, we talk about getting started, we talk about the nature of early starting projects and what they look like and what they feel like, and a lot of people will be surprised to see that it's really not that glamorous. So this show is perfect for anybody who's looking to start their own project for pleasure or payment. I would definitely give it a listen and recommend to anyone who you know is in this position. That's enough for me, guys. I'll leave you with the company motto, which is small victories repeated daily, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. And the fee, remember, if you got value, if you enjoyed, if you had a laugh, please like, share, comment, review, and hopefully we can grow this show organically, and because that's the way we want to do it. So yeah, guys, like I say, all the best from me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye. Paddy, say hello to the crowd.
Hello, the crowd.
How are we today?
I'm absolutely fantastic. I have an incredible flat white here from Bruton Ranch.
Branch.
Well, I was trying to, you know the way they have to avoid copyright things in like the early FIFA games. It was like Ronaldo instead of Ronaldo. That's what I was going for there.
I like that.
I don't want to plug.
No,
we might have a coffee sponsor down the line. They go, you're affiliate of the Bruton Branch. We don't want to work with these.
Well, name a couple of other ones. Established. 6% coffee. And that's the only people up in Belfast.
Yes. This is we're really narrowing the audience here. But yes, hello. I'm great to be here. I have a delicious coffee. That's my day so far, which is brilliant. Couldn't ask for anything more.
Big time. We are now currently in the Ormo Baths, as you can see, in this lovely office space. Ormo Baths is a co-working space in the heart of Belfast. I do a bit of work here the odd time. It's amazing. So really thankful the guys have let us in and given us a room pretty much for the day. So we'll get straight into it. Me and Paddy both kind of came up with this idea. We wanted to kind of sit down with high-performing individuals, as I said before, and just see what makes them. I personally, and both Paddy, I'm sure as well, we're both very interested in general success. And the whole idea for this came about whenever I asked Paddy what is his version of success, and his version and his definition of success were night and day different. And what that really brought upon
to yours, the night and day different.
Yes, you're right. Actually, there will be a bit of editing he'd done in this, but where that conversation ended up leading was, well, this brings about a pretty cool dynamic in that there are going to be multiple individuals that have found success in their own space, but they will define success in a completely different way. Success is relative, and that is one thing that we wanted to tap into. So we'll get to know the hosts. A couple of people already know me, but we'll ask a couple of questions, and a couple of people actually already know Paddy. But Paddy, tell me a bit about yourself, where you're from. You'll notice that Paddy has an absolutely god awful accent, so you're not.
This is a radio accent.
Boy.
This is a radio accent. Listen to this radio voice. This is a radio voice. Listen to that.
Deep dark.
I should probably start all podcasts. Hello and welcome to the OLY Podcast.
Yeah.
That's going to sound amazing. See, you don't know because you can't hear it, but because I'm so close to the mic, it's going to sound amazing later. But anyway, hello, yes. My name is Paddy, creative whiz kid extraordinaire, as no one has ever dubbed me, but just self-titled myself that. No, yes, I am one of those... I was going to use the generic creative. Not generic because I'm boring. Generic just because I can sort of cover most bases that the modern business would require.
Creative would require.
Content creator.
Yeah.
Which I didn't used to like. Didn't like the phrase content creator because I think it had a bit of a bad... I think it got a bad name through the Instagram influencer generation. Mm-hmm. But no, that is essentially what I am. Filmmaker, photographer, do a tiny bit of graphic design when I am absolutely required to, and I just wing it and make it happen, stay up till the early hours until it's done. Musician, do a lot of music, playing a band called Hunk Papa.
Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. We'll talk about your background. So obviously, Paddy, you were born in England.
I was not born in England. I was born in Germany.
Oh, yes.
I moved just sort of all over the shop. Not all over the shop. Moved to a couple of different places, but yes, mostly England. Parents and all family from Northern Ireland originally. So the blood is red with the hand of Ulster.
Oh, nice.
Is that a bad thing to say?
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see.
Oh, I'm gonna do another. So yes, no, the blood is Irish through and through, but the accent is English. See, I'll chop that out.
Keep that all in.
Right. Okay.
So you can be politically correct.
Well, you could choose to selectively hear whichever one of those two definitions.
I like that.
But yeah, no, the I've always felt very Irish, and the parents always wanted to keep a lot of Irish in the household. We would always host the maddest St. Paddy's Day parties in England. And the whole of England, but it was always a big thing. Everyone would come round to the Cartwrights, and we'd throw a big rager.
Big rager.
Dad's a big fan of a rager. No, it's not a rager. It's unbelievably controlled and very. He'd fire the bar when my sister was having parties, like age 17. He'd fire up the barbecue at like 2 a.m. and feed everyone. Which a clown.
That's a top.
He'd get the boys on the burgers, who lads about to pass out. He's like, right, here, take that there, boys. You like burger, boys?
Chicken burger. But yes, mate. So
sorry, I haven't explained anything there.
Yeah, you haven't explained anything.
No, born in Germany, moved about, but England is the accent. England is essentially where I'm from. Returned to the roots, came back to Belfast for a university degree at the Queen's University of Belfast, doing international relations and politics, which is a far cry from anything I'm doing now or anything I ever really probably will do. It was, but I'm always a big fan of just getting as much under the belt as possible. And when it came to uni, that was like no different really. I wanted to do I was always gonna pursue creativity and music or drama or now obviously filmmaking, photography, all of this. One of those routes was going to be the route. There was no doubt about that. But I thought, here, we'll just get, in case everything goes really tits up, we'll just get the old politics degree under the belt, just so we've got it, sort of thing.
And to add maybe a bit of credibility, a lot of people won't know you because you're not really a public figure as such. Your work is kind of background work. What is something that you're doing at the moment that people will know? Because I know projects you're working on, I know who you're working with, I know the athletes you're working with, the companies and the businesses you're working with. But kind of give the people a bit of an insight into who you're working with, what you've done this year, because that definitely they'll know. Yeah,
no, that's true actually. Yeah, this year's looking really exciting.
Are you even allowed to tell people?
Yes. Oh no, totally. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Oh no, it's out in the open now. My face has been put to it. So I just started, essentially sort of like behind the scenes media, I suppose you could call it, for the Filthy 150, the CrossFit sanction event, the Filthy 150.
Yep.
Which is unbelievably exciting. Darina and Jamie came to me and they were like, gave me the brief of what they wanted to do this year. So this year, essentially, all these sanctioned events in the CrossFit world. It's essentially I call it the world tour of CrossFit. I think they should rebrand it to that, like a world tour. I like
that is actually cool.
It's like the world tour of CrossFit, and Jamie and Dorina just want to be, because obviously these events for them come round once a year, they're in November, they still want to be active and doing stuff and actually bringing a bit of value to the community, to the CrossFit world. So they said, here, look, we're going to be travelling to other sanctioned events, and as a way to learn for ourselves how well or how bad, not necessarily badly, but like the pros and cons of other events. And also just to get to follow the Irish athletes who are traveling around the world, because they really are going everywhere. I wasn't sure how much people would be out and about, but like Sam Stewart and Zoe Kerr are going to Miami. Mickey Smith also going to Miami for Wodapalooza. There's a handful of guys going this weekend to Norway, so we're off tomorrow. Bloody hell, to Norway.
Yeah.
Week after going to Miami, and then the Atlas Games. I know Foles going to the Atlas Games, Canada. West Coast Classic. Who's going to the West Coast? Emma McQuaid's going to the West Coast. But there are more people here and there. But yeah, just running a vlog essentially for the Filthy 150, which is very exciting.
Pretty cool.
And we want to actually no, I'll not say too much. But I've not seen that many people who are like properly covering the sanctionals. I don't think there's anyone that's actually going to be doing it to the level the Filthy are doing it, which is a testament to them sort of realising that and being like, right, we need to just go and...
I don't think, actually, just to get my 5 cents, I don't really I don't think people realise just the level and the effort and the energy that Jamie and Dorina have put in, and also I don't think they realise in comparison to other world sanctionals how good Filthy 150 is.
Yeah.
You'll get a really good taste of it. I already kind of have a taste of it. Even people coming across and people who have been to other sanctionals, time and time again, Filthy 150 is there, head and shoulders above the rest. And I think being from Ireland, Northern Ireland, it's very, very easy to overlook that. And because it's on our doorstep, essentially,
yeah, for sure,
we can overlook it. But no, that was just more so to add a bit of context as to
but that's my current doings. That seems to be the route I'm going down. Ever since you introduced me to the wonderful world of CrossFit, we never know how long it's been. Maybe over a year now.
Yeah, mate, I don't even
since
know.
We started.
You
brought me in,
like
started abusing me.
Yeah, pretty much
for
mate.
Content. No, it's been. I remember we started and I was like, this is great. I was aware of it as I'm sure, many before people who are in, like, I'm sure everyone knows, BC, like before CrossFit. Just quite, like, you can't, I think everyone is somewhat aware of it, but never really know, was that where, they all hurt themselves, or was it that? Like, no one really knows if you're outside. But once I came into it, and like, for me, I'm always people always, if anyone has ever asked me about, like, film and stuff, like how do you, like, tell me about, can you critique this, or like look at that for me, most of the time I just turn around and go, if you really look at what I do, I tend to just film and photograph like people who just look amazing / are amazing at what they do. Because the last I did Electric Picnic music festival down photographing last year, and like it was the easiest weekend's work I've ever done, because all you have to do is take a photo, and it's Billie Eilish, so therefore it's immediately an amazing photo.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's the same sort of thing with this. Like, I remember that one of those first shoots we did Mickey, and he had his shirt off, and I was like, this is amazing. This is going to be so easy. I don't have to do anything here. Just move the camera about quite a lot, and then...
You're not the first person that said that.
Oh, exactly. But no, I also do a lot of music videos and live music photography, but I think it's nice to actually be so busy with CrossFit stuff that I can, like... Yeah. I'm starting to niche down. For the last sort of 2 years, I've just been doing anything I can get my hands on, which I think has benefited me greatly. But it's time to get into a career. So which is great that it's CrossFit.
To put you in to a top trump, you're in a band, a successful band up north. You do videography, photography for Filthy 150, for us, for multiple other companies and businesses. You're only 23.
I'm 24 now.
Oh, you're old.
It's horrible. This is the first time I've said I'm 24. Do you know when you have a birthday, I wonder when's going to be the first. The worst thing. When's someone going to ask me how old are you?
Say out loud what age you're coming, and then when you say that out loud, you hate yourself. You hate it.
I'll be 20. No, see, I quite like the idea of 25.
Nah.
No, I only like it because this year actually looks like it's been quite good. So then I think by the time, like, It could have been.
Life will be amazing.
Yeah, at 23, I was like, flip, what else could happen at 24? But now, looking at 25, it's like, actually, no, I think I'll be all right by the time I get 25. I think I'll be dead on.
What I wanted to... So, yes, finish your top trump card here. So,
Yes,
you're in a
yes.
band, Hunk Papa. Look them up. I love their music. I'm a huge super fan.
We'll put it in the
You
show
do
notes.
Videography, photography, lots of other creative projects. And that you're self-employed, essentially.
Yes.
And that's kind of the angle... And the angle that I wanted to bring, no, that's the kind of angle, sorry, I wanted you to bring. Because you're doing this, you know, you've tried multiple different things in the last 3 years. You're kind of a go-getter in that sense, and you'll be able to relate. But also, whenever we're not doing guests on, it will be me and Paddy, and we'll kind of either be collecting our thoughts, we'll be you know, talking about some of the guests that we've had on, and, you know, kind of cherry picking the things that they said, maybe isolating and talking on them a bit more. And because we're both in the stage where we're learning, we're always reading, we're always kind of doing, we're always experimenting. So we're just essentially going to be sponges for the next 2 years, 3 years. You know, we don't have a goal on how many podcasts we want to do, but, you know, essentially the goal of the whole thing is that in these conversations that we have, in the kind of talking that we get done, we want to be able to pick up on wee things that make these high performers them and make them high performers. So,
for anyone that doesn't know, you, Lewis Pearson, who the fuck are you?
My name is Lewis Winston Pearson.
Winston, that's class.
Winston.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm 25.
So you're 20, you're the big two for me.
Yeah, I'm old. Yes, 25. Owner, founder of OLY. Kind of lover of sandwiches. Amateur, wishful competitive CrossFitter. Not that great, although in my head I'm Rich Froning. Yeah, mate, generally, like, my life's just been business for the last 3-4 years. Where I started, kind of will do a mini journey. Like you, not like you, sorry. Born in Northern Ireland, born and raised in Portadown, God's country, otherwise known as. Kind of went through school, wasn't really much of a hard worker, wasn't much of a focused. Yeah, I was a wee rip essentially. I was that dude that, like, you know, squirted, you know, water over people, and like I was that wee dickhead. And then kind of hit 15, 16, and in my mind I was this big smart guy and could do anything I put my mind to, and I even knew that back then. But got to like 15, 16, had no, like, was sitting on like 3 GCSEs or something, and I was like, fuck, I need to get my finger out here. And literally that was the turning point in my life where I started just anything I wanted, I started working for it. I've always been that way. I think I started my first kind of, well, I wouldn't say money making scheme or project, was kind of getting on. What was it? It was a big knee injury that pretty much put me out of sport for a couple of years. And during that time, I had a load of free time. I was at University of Ulster, was studying a degree in health physiology. And yeah, with this newfound time, I needed something to stimulate myself. I got into business, heavily into business. I'd already done a couple of projects on the side.
So you'd been, sorry to interrupt, before then, had you tried to, like, sell things and make money before?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So you've
All
always
my
been,
all my life.
So you've always been like wheeler dealer.
The way I've always had to work for shit. Like, whether, you know, I'm not hard done by or anything, but, you know, I remember going and asking, you know, my dad for money to go into town. He'd be like, nah.
Yeah,
like,
so you...
Okay, all right, I have to go make my own dough. So ever since then, mate, I've been selling shit since I was like 16. I've been doing...
Well, what did you sell at 16?
Oh, mate,
if you're legally allowed to say.
Oh, so much stuff, man. I've sold newspapers. I've sold flyers. I've sold... What have I sold? I mean, I've sold so much. Like, I've done that much that I can't even isolate one exact thing. First big project, I remember the day that I wanted to get into business. So I've easily worked over 20 jobs in my life. That's no word of a lie. Whether it be in warehouses and on production lines, doing paper rounds in bars, in shops, and I've worked so many jobs. And I got to the point where I realised that my life is worth more than £7 an hour. And I was like, look, if I'm going to bust my nut, I want to benefit from that. So yeah, it was literally, I was working in a bar, and then I was big into my music, and I started DJing. Started being the next David Guetta. And yeah, so went from making like 30 quid a night to making like 120 quid a night. And I was like, yeah, this is good. This is far better. And then literally 2 years into that, I was like, right, I can run events in a nightclub, £5 a head, pay 6 bouncers, get your floor hire done, and get 2 guys to stand on the door. I'll DJ for free. And I remember there was one event that I done, and it was the turning point of my life. I was actually traveling in Thailand, and me and a guy back home, we organised this event in just a wee nightclub in town, and he was in Ibiza and I was in Thailand, and like we got two of my mates to stand on the door. We got a DJ in, we got all the bouncers paid off, and we made like fucking $2,500. And I don't even know if I want to put but I'll happily say. And I was like, oh my goodness, and obviously we took our costs out, then we split that down the middle, and that literally, I think I ended up getting we got 900 net profit each, right? And with that, this is actually a cool story. We got £900 net profit each. I had £500 of that I needed to pay my car insurance, so fired the car insurance through, and then I was left with £400, and that £400 is actually what I started OLY with.
Really?
Yeah. So
I thought it was the old student loan.
Student loan helped. That was kind of venture.
That was
capital.
like a later kind of thing.
Yeah. So that was that August that I had that £400. Started buying development t-shirts. Started sourcing out print teams and embroidery teams. Started figuring out how I was going to build a site. Started doing all of that. With that £400. And then when it got to January, so August, September, October, December, January, it was January that we got our first student loan in second year of uni, and I spent it in 2 weeks. Because I knew, I'd spent the last 3-4 months and kind of building this idea of what I wanted. Yeah. And then at the end of February or March, I'm not too sure what time it was, but there was a competition. My good friend Steve McQuillan at CrossFit Classroom was running the Revolution CrossFit competition, and he's like, I need t-shirts for this event, and I goes, I'll do it. Didn't even think. I had no brand. I had nothing. OLY didn't exist, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. And built a brand in literally kind of like a month. And went to the first event
and rolled it out.
And I think we started with 1 jumper, 2 men's t-shirts, 2 female t-shirts, and the rest is essentially history.
That's amazing. That's so good, because I always wonder this, and it's actually I think this sort of like this idea I have of like, you've always been the wheeler dealer then. Because I always find it very interesting thinking about yours and my business ventures, because they're very, very different in terms of like obviously at the core it's, you are doing something for yourself in order to provide for yourself. Yes. However, you're in the products business. Like, you have always been selling things, and you've gotten good at that. Yeah. Whereas I have always but even at that, I've always just done things and built up skills over years, and it's only now that I'm like, but I hate the whole business side of things. I'm getting better at it, and I'm enjoying it more now. But like my first sort of like couple of years when I actually started to get a bit of cash off of doing music videos and things like that, it was just so like, it would come in and I would literally just like, I'd always spend it pretty much on just more kit, but there was no I wasn't like tracking anything I was spending. It was the real creative side of business. It was just like because at the heart I'm a creative, and like so I wasn't really bothered with anything. I was just like, there's cash, right? I've just made cash. Let's spend some money to make some more cash, and like, but it's so interesting to see, because I never really had that. Like, my spare time was spent doing like musical theatre and stuff. It wasn't spent like trying to make cash. Drama. Yeah. But like that now wasn't like, because in the same way you selling newspapers and running nightclub events has been an investment in being able to now sell apparel. For me it was like the creativity is now like come to the forefront and able to do this kind of stuff. Major contrast. But one thing that I realized, and I actually thought about this the other day, was every major business idea I've ever had was off of passion.
I've always made money off of passion. So with DJing, with it running nights and event, I was massively into music at that stage of my life. Huge. I actually wanted to be a full-time DJ, bought the software, bought all that stuff. Got a cracked version of Fruit Loops, if you know, you know. Got the Ableton, got everything, and even with OLY, I was big into CrossFit. I was doing the training. I was doing it as my rehab for my injury at the time, and wanted to do it competitively. It was going to be my next sport on from rugby and athletics, and I've always managed to make sure that whatever business I do, it's in a passion, and it's actually a bit of a cliche thing. It's like if you do work in the area that you where your passion lies, you'll never work a day in your life.
It is but it makes so much sense.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
makes
cliche.
so much sense.
It's a cliche because it actually exists. Like, it's actually true.
It's
so
like,
flipping true.
Like now, whenever we're making stuff for our athletes and our apparel for the athletes and specific products, and I love it because I'm like, I can use this, I can wear this, I can test it, I can trial it, I can give it to kind of our boys and our girls and let them do the same, and it's just something that people can use, and it's a passion, and it's always been something that I've realised without really noticing. I've just done it. But yeah, I've always been into that. It really came from needing and wanting to be worth more than £70 an hour, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just for me, I was like, I'm inherently lazy, so I want to benefit as much as I can from the hours that I'm putting in. But yeah, even to kind of wrap that up, we worked at OLY, and we're kind of 4 years into OLY now, and I think it's going to be our biggest year yet. Projects like this, linking up with guys like you, starting the vlog and really starting to find our feet. I would say we're kind of out of our infant stages now. We're moving into the toddler stages as a business. We now have systems set up. We now have the team in place that we can really scale and grow. And it has taken us 3 years to get that. And then, I'm like yourself. I did not start out with any business knowledge or experience. I just done trial and error. Just experimented, just tested, just trial, just went out and executed it. And if it went tits up, so what? I learned, and when it's your own money, you'll learn even faster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Is like there'll be a lot of people kind of in our positions that will have this knack to do something, will have the tenacity and the drive to want to do something, and maybe there's no, what I want to contextualize is there's no perfect way to start. There's no right or wrong way to get into it either.
Yeah, and any advice you seek and get is like useful, but at the end of the day useless, because it's like it's at the end of the day it's your trial and error that's gonna be the foundation of your own whatever you're trying to do. Because
if you're trying to do something now, it's different. If I open up Lewis Pearson window cleaning services, it's difficult to shine doing that, But you didn't even realise what you'd done there. But and the absolute contrast would be your kind of work and even ours, where we need to put our own twist and taste on things, and that's what makes us and makes us recognizable for our own work and our own right. That's the thing where advice and knowledge that has been shared will sometimes backfire, because the advice that you're asking for someone is only relative to their journey and what they've done and what they've experienced, and they're not you.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that in the start I listened to, not necessarily the wrong people, but listen to too many people. I didn't do enough in the start, because you're going in and you are the complete novice, and you want to just be a sponge and soak up everybody's advice. And you think because you are you're so inexperienced, you'll think it's right and what they're saying is gospel.
But if you're not going with the gut, if you're not going with your gut, then I think you're in trouble from the start, because it's like, because no matter if I got advice from flipping Spike Lee on a music video, Spike Lee, one of the greatest music video directors of all time. That's not my opinion, by the way. That's just apparently I don't think he's that great. But Spike Lee, he comes and goes, right, do this for your music video. And if I don't agree, then there's no way. I just don't think that music video will benefit me in the production of it if I'm listening to what he thinks. Even if it's terrible, and in 5 years I look back on it and it's terrible, I think that in the moment, going with what I reckon would be the best thing is the best thing to do, because then it's like, you've actually learnt yourself rather than blindly listening to whoever and like going for and going ahead with whatever they think you should do. Because that, like, I had the old it's not the grades you make, it's the hands you shake. That's one of the best lines in the world.
I've never heard that.
It's not the grades you make, it's the hands you shake. I think it's from here. I'd never heard it before in England. But that was so relevant for me because someone texted me the other day or Instagram messaged me, it was like, hey, really trying to get into like the live music photography a lot more. Like, what have you got any advice? I was like, well, yeah, I have got advice, but like I can tell you exactly what I did. Now this obviously isn't going to work for you, but all I did was got very good at actually taking photos of people playing music. Like, it's very dark. You got a lot of different lights. You got to sort of work around. That was all just low level, small gigs, mostly in Belfast. Did a couple in London when I was over there just for the crack. Literally, like, occasionally got 30 quid here and there. But I quite enjoyed it, and it was good fun. I knew I was better than a lot of local people doing it. But then, how I got Electric Picnic was through nothing other than I knew I was following the biggest live music photographer in Ireland. She's called Ruth Medjber, Ruthless Imagery. She's amazing. And I literally messaged her. Knew she was launching like a gallery thing. Because I can do video, this wasn't even I essentially didn't get to Electric Picnic because I was good at live music photography. I got it through being a videographer. Because I said, "Here, Ruth, I'll film your gallery for just for the crack. I'll film your gallery. I know you'd benefit from it." Because then I knew it would mean I could go, "Here, when you're in Belfast, let's grab a coffee." And that's exactly what we did. And then she gave me a load of email addresses. And even then, I emailed all of them saying, "Please, I just want to photograph live music." Yes. None of them replied, even though I said, "Look, Ruth sent me." But then at the end of the day, it was her saying to the Electric Picnic lot, "Look, Paddy Cartwright's the man. She couldn't do Electric Picnic that year. Paddy's the man. You should get him in instead of me."
Yeah.
And it was pretty much like she could have named it. She knew a lot of other people who were good live music photographers who could have done it. As I said before, you take a photo of Billie Eilish, it looks amazing because it's Billie Eilish. But it was just the fact that I'd gone and done I'd done a video for her, and then we became mates and had a coffee, and that was all it was.
Two things.
And so how I can't tell you that and say, "Oh, go and do that," because that person will be like, "Well, that's impossible." Yeah. It's just keep trying to. Because for me, in my world, it's just meeting as many people as possible. Because you're the I met you. You've then introduced me to an entire. It's the old LinkedIn thing, when you get a connection and then you get the old tree spawns out, mutual friends. That's all. It's then. Oh, I'm now meeting 20 people a week.
Because I'm not blowing smoke up my own ass, but you weren't even in our industry.
No, nowhere near it.
You met us.
Never considered
and then
getting into sporting stuff.
Well, not even name the series that we done because it is now he who shall not be named. But before us, you didn't even plan on working in CrossFit, and now predominantly 80 to 90% of your work is in our space, and only in our space.
And it's great.
And think of the opportunities of Filthy, and think of the opportunities going to all these sanctionals. But two things really stuck out to me whenever you were talking there, mate, and it's all to do with Ruth and sitting down. It was networking and leverage, and networking is simple, straightforward. Literally dropping a message. And I still do it to this day. It's kind of one of my biggest strengths is that I don't go and do the whole, let's network and let's connect. No, fuck that. It's stupid, right? I literally call it not making mates, but that's essentially what you're doing. Yeah. That's how we literally connected in the start. That's how 80% of my relationships are all from me randomly reaching out and just saying, I actually really like your shit. Can we meet up and can I pick your brain on why?
That's important though. Sorry to when you said I really like your shit. That it can't be they're a big name in my space, so I need to chat to them. Yeah, it needs to be intention. You've been following them and seeing them for ages, and you're like, they seem really cool. I want to chat to them.
Yeah, the intention needs.
Yeah, it needs to be legit.
I'm not meeting up with someone because I feel like I can benefit from them. I'm meeting up with someone because I'm genuinely interested in seeing what makes them, how they've got to where they've got, how they would maybe attack a project. I mean, it's going to be completely relative to your industry or your business or whatever you're trying to set up or whatever you're trying to do. But don't go in with the intention of I can get X, Y, and Z from this person.
Yeah.
No, go and meet them with genuine intention and say, look, whether it be, I'm not really comfortable at this project, I'd love to sit down for half an hour and hear how you do it, and that'll give you crazy insight. But then the second part that I really picked up on was the leverage. So you were able to go to that girl, Ruth, and say, look, I know that you're more so a photographer. I'm a decent videographer. I want to go and I want to do your gallery and I want to do this. And what you were doing there was leveraging your skill, right? And it's the same as me going to someone and, well, how do I make it relative to me? It's the same as me going to one of our athletes and saying, look, I can leverage our social media accounts to get you more traffic to your thing. It's the exact same way.
Yeah.
I can give you free kit and send traffic your way if you come on board as an. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but that's what leverage is leveraging your skill to benefit the other person. And I think the big thing that I really didn't grasp in the start, especially when I started out, was doing shit for free, doing things organically, doing things because are doing things not in the hope, but things will happen. If you show up to the electric picnic, you meet 5 guys, you do a really fucking good job. There's,
I know. Yeah, exactly. It's great. I now keep in touch with like a bunch of the other photographers there, and they've then all got their own journey and their own story, and I can learn. I've already learned so much from just it, not even speaking to them again, but just following on Instagram and like just having a little look back. And one guy, Scott, he's like amazing. He's primarily like a documentary photographer, so he'll go. And it's such a different world of photography to me, because I sort of see it as like you photograph someone who needs a photograph, you get paid to do it. He has a whole different thing where his main thing is like he'll travel to Kenya and Sri Lanka and do photo projects and get funded by either UK government or Sri Lankan government and do a lot of like National Geographic type stuff, and like he'll be paid for like a project, and there'll be months of planning the sort of shots they want to get. They'll be speaking to people, they'll be doing trips, and it's all for a handful of photos, and it's like such a different world, and it's amazing. But then he also comes and does Electric Picnic, and he runs the photos for Boomtown, which is a massive dance festival, and he was like, here mate, if you want to do Boomtown, give me an email. I was like, well, there we go, there's another. Like, that's all it is, because if he needed photographers, he could go to Google and the top 5 would be amazing. The top 50 would be amazing. Everyone's amazing. That's the problem. Everyone's amazing, but you just need to chat to people. If you meet him in person, I had lunch with him every day. We got on well. He was cool. They both pulled us in to film something on the last day because the video team had left or some shite. So like we had that bond where we like sort of saved the day. We were joking about and that's all it was. And then he was like, oh mate, come do Boomtown.
But that's what and you went in. You weren't worried about making money. You weren't worried. You were just worried and focused on delivering a good service. All the time.
I was amazing. I just photographed the 1970. My favorite band in the world, 1975. I was in the pit. It was amazing. I didn't care about anything else that happened the weekend.
I'd love just even kind of isolate that. If you are starting out, just do as much as you possibly can, because you'll start networking, you'll start developing your own skills, you'll start realizing what your own strengths are whenever you compare and contrast yourself to other people, other businesses, other individuals in your space, and that'll give you such good insight into what gives you leverage over someone else. It is absolutely, it's just doing. And if you start to do and you are naturally very good and you get good quickly, more people will absolutely, people go, oh, I've seen that, it's good. But if you're not that good, keep doing, and then 2 years later you will be good. And it's literally just like there is a formula in many ways, and it's just, and again, its number one thing is intention. Because if you're going out thinking, all right, I need to get this from him, I'd love to get that from him, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. People will see straight through that. And the number one thing as well is whenever you're setting up relationships, set them up like genuinely. If you don't like someone, don't fucking talk to them. Don't set up a link with them. It's kind of like one thing that you said there was like the time that you were saving the day with those guys. It was like, well, we'll take that part out. But what I was going to say is, whenever you've set up a relationship with someone, and like it was the Google example that you said, right? So if you go in top 5 Google, say they're like, we'll use numbers, very easy way to explain it. Say one of those photographers is like 95 out of 100, right?
Yeah.
If this guy Scott knows you and you're like an 85, and then likewise on Google, this guy's he's available, he's like a 95 out of 100, he's going to choose you all day because he has that link with you.
And he knows I'm not a weirdo.
He knows you're
like
not
he knows
a weirdo.
there's a bit of crack.
He has that rapport. He knows what he's getting. But all these relationships take time. And they are just that, relationship. You can't rush a friendship.
No,
just like you can't rush a business relationship. And you're going to have fuck all contacts in the start. You're going to have no resources. You're going to have to go out and empty yourself every day. But that's the joy of it in the start.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to move on to, mate.
Yes.
Was I really want to try and wrap up what this podcast is, because I know we'll be chopping and changing this first episode anyway, so we can go back and forth. But we kind of went off on a tangent there talking about no, but it's good.
I think it's a very beneficial tangent.
Yeah, big time. We went off.
We've learned a lot. I've certainly learned a lot.
You kind of briefly touched on our interests about us. We things that we've already picked up on in business, but the main reason we want to put this podcast out is essentially to give everybody an insight into these high performers. And let's even go into that. You know, these high performers are people that I class as high performing individuals, and you know, generally successful people as well in their own space. And again, we briefly touched on it earlier. I was like, you know, Paddy's version of success is totally different to mine, and I'll ask you to define it soon, Paddy, because I really like your definition of it. But the big thing is generally, if I asked 10 people, you know, 5 of them would have said, to have a load of zeros in your bank account. And that to me is not success. And that's kind of it added to that whole, well then what does all these different successful people in different spaces think that success actually is? So that's what we want to do. We want to kind of sit them down, see what makes them what journey that they had, and kind of make this, you know, publicly known, so that anybody starting out has this head start, has this info, knows what they done, and knows what this other guy done, and knows what this girl done to get to where they are now. And that's what I love, because this resource wasn't available whenever I started out, and I'm sure shit it wasn't available when you started out. And I think if we could save someone 6 months or a year of time, that's the goal. You know, there's a lot more to it than that, obviously. But yes, mate, the big question that we're going to be asking every single individual that comes on, and it's the same question, and it's aptly chosen, is what is your version of success and how do you define it? And I'll ask for your definition first.
My definition of success is being free to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. Mm-hmm. That is it, plain and simple. Now I don't really think it matters how that is achieved, just as long as it is achieved. Mm-hmm. So, like, I've felt successful. I left uni and have felt successful literally every day because I've not been tied down with anything, essentially. Like, I've not been 9 to 5ing and having to work stuff around it. Like, it's literally been, for the first year, I wasn't really making too much money, and a lot of the time I was probably not, I wasn't doing enough, really. I was a bit lazy here and there. However, I still felt enormously successful because I was like,
you're doing your own thing.
I've got the time to figure it out, and I've got the time to actually like slowly, to be quite lazy and actually click into things. And I think it's waking up every day and actually getting stuff done every day. I think it's the daily thing as well. Like I think daily success is success as a whole. I think the mindset of being, the mindset of waking up, getting something done. I'm now like, I've always been a very good early riser, but I never did it that often. I did it for periods and periods, but now I'm sort of into a groove whereby I'm starting. I'm doing an Ironman next year, so I'm doing a half Ironman this year, and I'm now having to like. There's no other option. I have to get up and get in a session in the morning, essentially. Otherwise, the day just doesn't.
When do you get up?
Normally 5:30, 6. 5:30, 6. That's it. That's if it's like absolutely essential. I need to get the session in then. Because then it also kickstarts the day. You know, I'll do like a bike sprint and then come back. Like it'll be 7, and I'll just feel better than everyone else in the world because I'll be like, you're not awake yet.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, success is that for me. And Lewis, what is your definition of success?
So mine is, it's kind of changed. Not that it's changed a lot over the years, but I read a really good book about 2 years ago, which then got me onto this guy, Andy Frisella, of the MFCEO project. So I've kind of hijacked his idea of what success is because I really, really relate to it. His word for word definition of success is fulfilling your potential every day. And the reason I like that is it's relative to the individual, and it's a daily pursuit of success. One thing that I've realized is literally 90% of success is showing up every day. Like, that's the hard part, is literally showing up in a good mindset, in a good place to work, to do your craft, to whatever it may be, but it's fulfilling your potential every single day. That's what I see as a successful person. Whether you're stacking shelves in Tesco's or you're running Tesco's, doesn't matter. You know, fucking if you're stacking shelves, be the best stacker of shelves on earth. You know, that is you fulfilling your potential, because that's your potential and that's your relative potential. And it kind of, after I kind of, I would say encapsulated, we'll use that buzzword, this idea, it kind of kept coming back to me in more ways than one. And then I developed a mantra for this, and it was, it came from, you know, I'm big into philosophy, big into philanthropy, and it came from readings of success is a sum of small victories repeated on a daily basis. And I took that and I just conceptualized it, so I'm going to start that again. The quotation is, success is a sum of small victories repeated on a daily basis. And I just shortened it to small victories repeated daily. And that to me is something that I say every day. I literally have it tattooed on my body. Yeah. And it's our company motto. And it's been one of the biggest things that has helped me. And, you know, I got an awful bit of abuse at the start, but like, because not many people get a coat in their arm and live to not regret it a year later. But I love it. Like, it's one thing that's always stuck by me, whether it be in sports and business and whatever. It's like small victories repeated on a daily basis will breed long-term success. Yeah. And that is just absolute fact. And
that's the thing. Yeah,
goes back to that definition of fulfilling your potential every day. They're both so closely linked. And again, kind of my example would really showcase to people that it is totally relative. It's relative success. You know, a lot of people who haven't really delved into what success is to them would say, oh, it's fucking having loads of zeros in your bank. It's having money. But there's so much more to life than that. Yeah. It really is. And it's easy for me to say, you know, I don't have a mortgage and I don't have big responsibilities. So I don't, you know, money will be a big integral part, but I'm hoping that my business, as a byproduct of my success, money comes from that, and you'll be the exact same.
But that's why I love that definition, is it's the daily, the thing about like daily success, and because it's so much easier. People can get and I do it all the time. I'm sure you've done it, and like it's the looking too far ahead and just getting too, because it's just defeating. Like it's such a defeating way to look at it. You look ahead and you're like, flip, why am I not there? And I remember thinking that, you know, I thought that 2 years ago, and now I'm in the position that I wanted to be in then now, and like now I am there, but there's still part of me that's like, oh no, why am I now not there? But I'm getting so much better at just being like, right now is brilliant, and I'm not like, I'm going to be patient and not, because now I figured it out. It's all about just meeting people, shaking hands, and everything else will come. It's like, I know and everything else will come, and it's just like, just being like day by day, waking up, going, brilliant, this is great, let's go, and then fucking ripping yourself on the bike in the gym, and then going to bed and be like, sweet, that was great, same again tomorrow.
You know, and whenever you do that and you're living, it gives you purpose to live every day, you know, as cliche and as bent as
there's been plenty of cliches in this.
It does. It gives you purpose in each day, because you're literally, I wake up each day, I've got my power list in my diary. I've got maybe my kind of 5 to 10 tasks that I do with business, and then I have my training. But like it's literally showing up every day.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not, like, for me, I know I'm not the smartest. I know I'm not the kind of the most savvy on things, but, you know, you're sure as shit I'll show up every fucking day, every day, no matter what. And again, you know, some days you're able to give 1,000,000%, and some days you can't, and that's the thing, and it's relative. And you develop this truth with yourself, and you'll know in that morning. Like last week for me, I was in a bit of a lull, and I was like, right, listen, just show up, get your shit done. You know you're not going to be able to go and do your big massive creative tasks, or your big massive kind of tasks that need a lot of creative energy, and that's fine. And you'll learn that over the course of time. But it's relative. Sometimes you'll wake up and you want to lie in bed. That's sweet. Don't do it, obviously. But drag your ass out and get shit done. And other days you'll be backflipping out of bed. You'll want to eat bricks and you'll want to go in and do business. And those are the days that you live for. Those are the exciting days. But yeah, it's totally relative. And that's one thing I want everybody to realize, is that, like, whether you are working for someone, whether you're working for yourself, whether you're a CEO or an operative level, whether you're at the start of your journey or at the end of your journey, it doesn't fucking matter. It's totally relative. It's like your potential is totally different to mine. I mean, I think I could go to the moon if I wanted to. I literally, if I could conceive it in my head, I feel like I can do it. And, you know, whereas someone could maybe be a bit more limited in that. I'm a dreamer anyway. I'm a visionary. I'm very, very lucky in that sense. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of people that don't have an idea of what success is to them, and that scares me. You know, I'm like, how could you go through life not knowing if you've progressed? How could you go through life not knowing what your potential was or what you could do? Or,
but I think it's that thing I touched on about, like, getting overwhelmed by things, like thinking too. Because I think if you said to someone, you know, what is success to you, and they gave one of our definitions, but then they weren't actually, like, sort of making steps to actually achieve that. I think it's all just because it's so daunting, and, like, they're looking way too far ahead in big picture. Because I'm very just optimistic. I'm very lucky. I'm just very optimistic, and like, oh, sure, just let's just go. Let's just start. Let's get cracking. Let's get, like, it's very just like, I'm so short sighted, which is actually in like a good way. It's like, well, let's go then. Right? If someone says, right, I'd really like to do that, I was like, all right, just do it immediately. And like, if it's a video idea for the band, for Hunk Papa, let's say, it's always like, I'm the one that goes, right, outside right now, like, I've not even got a camera, we're doing it on the phone, it doesn't matter whether it looks good or not, like, literally we just need to get it done, because then it's the whole that's all it is. Small victories repeated daily. Once you've got one done, then it's like, right, on to the next thing, and then you just want to, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not fucking number 10 to start with, just do number 1, and then number 2, like, get up and have your breakfast, and then you can, you know, don't wake up and think about your dinner. You wake up and you have your breakfast, and then the dinner will come. That's good. There we go.
Oh,
and we're off.
An analogy.
We're off.
That's an analogy.
Greatest podcast, the UK and Ireland and mainland Europe. Not mainland Europe, outside of it.
But no, Europe. Mate, I would totally agree. I was actually going to say a really good point there, but
sorry.
You got me so excited there. So you've actually made a really good point there. For guys starting out, it can feel very daunting, but holy shit, there's no kind of special drink that you can drink that will give you the skills to do. You just got to go and do it, and you'll feel like an imposter at the start. You'll feel like you weren't meant to be doing. Like, nobody gives you the right to start a business. Like, do you know what I mean? There's no company you go to, here, can I start a business, please? Nobody fucking. You just, like, for me, I was just like, yeah, shit, I'm gonna make clothes. There's nobody else making clothes. You know, I've got this kind of big dream, and I've got a mission statement, and I want to deliver it using apparel. No, but that's the thing. You mean, like, I can wake up tomorrow and be like, shit, I want to go to the moon. And if I believe enough that I can do it and that it's possible, I'll go and start doing it. And that's literally as easy as it is. And obviously, talking out loud makes it sound very, very simple. In essence, the action is always harder. Walking the walk is harder than talking the talk.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's nobody gives you the right to go and start a business. You just have it in yourself.
Yeah. But the moon thing's so good because, like, immediately you'd be thinking, flip, there's a lot of things to do before getting
I already know what I would do.
But that's the thing. That's like, it's, you know, you obviously need to go and probably do some sort of PhD physics degree. So it's like, for me, it'd be like, right, okay, I need my A-level physics because I don't do A-level physics.
Fuck that, man. I'm straight to Kennedy Space Center. And
No,
NASA.
you're.
I am selling them the fucking dream.
You're selling them. You'd be wrong there. I'll be
saying, listen here, Jeffrey. I'm the best goddamn pilot this country's ever seen. He's like.
But in that scenario, dinner is the PhD in physics.
Yes.
But I still need to wake up and have my breakfast.
Exactly.
So I'm going straight down. I'm going down to W.H. Smith. Is there W.H. Smith in
Yes.
Norway? Yeah. I'm going down to W.H. Smith.
PhD physics for dummies.
I've been here for 4 years. No, I'm going to W.H. Smith and I'm getting an A-level physics textbook. And I'm just I'll just dip the toe. I'd probably go and get GCSE, just start going. And they're like, right, where on earth can I get an A-level physics without having to go back to school? Am I doing nights? Like, there are so many little box ticks that need to be ticked. Yeah. And instead of being like, oh, flip, I need to go to... There's box number 50 is like going to be insanely hard. It's like, don't worry, just do box number 1 and then once you get to 50, you'll be like, oh, no, box 50 is actually all right.
One thing that really pops
then you'll be at box 100 before you realise it, and you'll be on the main.
And that's one thing...
Eating your dinner.
And you've kind of added to it again. But one thing that I picked up on whenever you were chatting there was momentum. And you'll know this. As soon as you get momentum, holy shit, you will feel like the whole world is working for you.
Yep.
And it is the most exciting, exhilarating thing. It's like, you're 6 months to a year in, all your hard work is starting to come to fruition and starting to materialize. And, it'll maybe happen earlier for some people, but momentum will be one of the biggest things that you can ride the wave on. It's like, because in the start, you won't be making money. Nobody will want to work with you. Nobody will want to be your friend. If you're not leveraging value and you're not valuable yourself, nobody will actually give a fuck. So it's like, as soon as you start getting traction, as soon as you start getting momentum, oh my days, there's no better feeling. And once you get momentum, you can't stop. You literally can't stop.
My friend Weston who actually introduced us. He made the dream happen. He'll be very happy I'm referencing this. Lieutenant Richard Winters from Band of Brothers. Mm-hmm. Momentum is key. I don't know the full quote, but he's a big fan of momentum.
But it's a huge thing.
But momentum is that, like, you're so right, because once you start getting it, you then just feel more confident.
A lot of people, actually, a good example, a lot of people will be able to relate this to the gym.
Yes.
So you're like 2 months in, you're past your beginner gain stage, you're getting into your routine, you're doing your 3-day or your 5-day week split, whatever. You've got your crowd in the gym, your team in the gym that you see, or maybe you're doing Saturday team WOD, or you're doing, fucking the big spin class. Doesn't matter, but once you find momentum, it becomes so much easier, and it becomes so much more natural, and it doesn't feel as hard, and those are the wee thing, and it actually links in, is if you can get past that first year in business, 80% of business fail in the first year, and it's a bit of a cliche thing, but it's true, because I've seen a lot of it happen. Think of the amount of clothing brands that have started up in Ireland alone and are not here anymore, and that's only relative to me, but it's the exact same thing. If you can get through that first year, and you can find your wee small wins, and you can celebrate those wins, and you can get momentum and get past that first year, you're fine. Yeah. You're totally fine.
And that's the confidence thing for me is huge, because again, we're coming back to relationships, because that's what it's all about. But I've had a bit of the sort of towards the back end of last year, I really, I said, right, I'm going to do this Ironman, I'm going to do, which started like, actually, at the point of me saying, right, I'm going to do an Ironman, that sort of started a bit of a momentum shift and then things, like a couple of things came off, did a lot of work with Nocco, started working with, so the name was getting out there a bit more, and then things snowballed. Yeah. And then at this stage, so now, just come on to the Filthy 150, I'm going to these sanctionals, and I've never felt more bulletproof. I'm going to be walking straight up to fucking Rich Froning if I see him going, Richie, that's our bag, man. I'm so well. It's just, I think it's a product of momentum. Yeah, I am confident, but I've never felt this confident.
Another thing that I picked up on, so I'm picking up on so much here, is awesome, was that as soon as you set your goal to something that utterly scared the fuck out of you in doing an Ironman, because I remember the day you told me, and I was like,
we've got it on video.
We do have it on video.
We did old Paddy vlog.
And I remember the moment he told me, and from that moment on, I'm not saying we were never lazy. Training was kind of our early relationship as such before video, and we always train regularly together. And it was actually the day that you said that, I literally noticed a physical difference in your attitude towards training and how much your adherence to training. But what I'm getting off on a limb here. But what I'm saying is, as soon as you set a goal so fucking big, your actions started aligning with that. You started getting up at 5:30 to go and cycle because you knew, like, your Ironman's how long? 2 years away. And
yeah, it's next. Yeah, there's one in July. It's half in summer, which is not horrendous, and then next year. So yeah, about a year.
Half Ironman's still a half Ironman.
About a year and a half. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, as soon as you set your goals to something that does scare you, and again, it's cliche. You've probably seen an Instagram meme about this, but you know, make goals that scare you because it does something to your brain, and I can't describe it and I can't contextualize it, but it does something to your mind where you literally, your actions change.
Yeah.
Your decision making, your discipline, the momentum that you carry, like, everything changes. And it's the exact same as you saying that you want to be, mate, I guarantee there's been a time where you've maybe brought it into your head that you'd love to photograph at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
And
Hey, actually, I finished my last notebook. I opened a new one. There are 5 stars in there. One is to do media at a sanctioned event, and I'm already six booked in for this year's February. And then the last one's get a new car. Mate, so hopefully the new car's coming.
That relates so much to what I'm saying.
But that's the momentum.
As soon as you set these goals that are so far away, that are so fucking out there, that you need such long-term vision for, like, that's your motivation.
Yeah, it's the food analogy again.
Yes.
When the goal is complete an Ironman and do it well, fulfill the potential. Do as good a job as I can do with not being a full-time fucking training athlete. Mm-hmm. You got to wake up and eat your breakfast. But that is not even metaphorized. Like, I'm gonna have to get up and have my breakfast here.
Ironman's dinner. Half Ironman is lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
And your training now is your breakfast.
Exactly. But it's like every day I'm gonna have to get up and instead of being like, because I did this on the programming, I flicked way down to like week 19 just to see how horrible it was, and it's nuts. And there was a part of me that went, holy fuck, like, I'm never, like, I literally am not gonna be able to. There's no way. But then I was like, right, calm down. This is why we're in week 2. Exactly. And there's a reason why on the programming week 2 says this. So wake up and eat your breakfast.
Yeah, a lot of people starting out will want that instant success. We are in the 21st century where instant gratification is part of our life now. There is no delayed gratification. If I want really nice food, I can get it in 2 minutes. If I want fucking anything, I can get it. If I want to order something, it comes the next day. Like, we're in a day and age where you get what you want instantaneously. And it's not like that in business. And having these big, massive goals is what keeps you motivated, keeps you aligned. And don't go and set something fucking ridiculously stupid. Like, I mean, for me, I was like, oh, I want to compete with Lululemon. Fuck no. They've been about for 50 or not 50 odd years, it's a lie. They've been about since like the 80s and 90s, I'm not, like, they've got years and years on me, and like, that was stupid. More realistic goal was, I wanted to have product at the CrossFit Games, and I wrote that goal in 2015, and the goal was to get that at 2020. And rightly so, through one way or another, we had 2 of our athletes got qualified to the CrossFit Games. And yes, I know I wasn't personally there. I know we didn't have a stall there, but in one way, shape or form, OLY Clothing got to the CrossFit Games, whether it be our athlete representation, whether it was we had a stall there, whether it was whatever. And like, it's setting those goals that you can really latch on to, because the day that happens, that you achieve that, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is epic.
Exactly. Because then it just makes now dinner becomes the next day's dinner. Now, because once you've had your dinner, you're like, flip, right, now I need to wake up and have breakfast again.
Yeah.
What's dinner going to be like tomorrow? I'm loving this dinner. This could be in my book.
The other thing as well, mate, is like, once you set big goals and you achieve them, you literally develop this crazy innate tenacity to go and try and achieve more, and to try and do more, and to try and accomplish more. And that is something that I love in the journey of success and the journey of business, is that, and I know this is relative to me, like the goals I set the goals I set 3 years ago, I could do them in like literally 3 months. Whereas the goals I set now, like, I mean, I have a goal that's 5 years away, I have a goal that's 3 years away, and I can see them clear as day in my mind. I can touch it. It's there, and it exists to me, and it's real. And it's so fucking far away that, I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know it's going to happen. But the big thing is what it does to your mind, how it starts affecting your psyche and your mentality. It's just the most crazy thing, and I don't think we can justify or do it justice, in trying to contextualize it, because we're both kind of early stage entrepreneurs, and we have only been in the game kind of, I'm coming up on 5 years and you're coming up on what, 4? But you
probably 2 or 3. Like, so, cause I was,
but
I'm calling this.
You're even seeing, mate,
2. I'm a year and a half. 2 years in,
imagine even, you know, the mentally the difference of where you are now in comparison to 3 years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like, what it does for you is it gives you so much self-confidence, so much belief in your own ability. Whenever you're doing these big, massive tasks and these big, massive goals and you're achieving them, you know, you're like, holy shit. What? That's why I now think that, you know, if I want to go to the moon, I could do it. Literally, you know, I'm big into philosophy and philanthropy. That's why I think that, you know, I think anything I put my mind to, the whole science of getting rich and all that stuff, and actually take that out. That's not what I want to say. The Secret by Rhonda Byrne about the law of attraction, that kind of stuff. Like, that was kind of my early entry to philanthropy and philosophy, and that's kind of what brought me on to this thinking of, if I can conceive it in my mind, I can literally do it, and that is one of the most powerful things that you can use. And I don't need fucking to watch motivational videos all the time. I don't watch them at all. I'm just when you get into the habit of being motivated, it becomes second nature to get up and to do things. And it's actually been this year where I'm taking myself so much more serious. I'm taking the business so much more serious, and I'm already seeing, you know, stuff coming to fruition after just over 30 days of taking another level up. And like, it used to take 6 months to see a change, now I'm seeing it 30 days later, because, you know, the skills you learn from execution, from doing your links, your relationships, your own ability, your capabilities, your resources, your sources, how you use your time, everything, it just goes up and up and up and up. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't stop. That's what potential is. It's just an unlimited thing, and you can keep adding to it. Yep. So, but yeah, mate, I'm hot. This has actually went really off on a whim. Yes. We had
good. It's a good start.
Yeah, we had somewhat of a structure. We didn't know where we were going to take it today.
Great.
So this is pretty exciting.
Great start.
Yeah, big time. So
I'm sure people are looking forward to fucking getting rid of us and actually getting a few interesting guests on.
So yes, you know, you'll all be happy to know it's not so much a conversation between Paddy and I. We kind of just wanted to get used to us. You'll just see that we're two normal, regular dudes that kind of both have our own dreams, and we're both pursuing those dreams. And you know, it's cool for you to see our own journeys, but it's also going to be cool to kind of showcase. You know, already we've got a really extensive list. We've already done some podcasts with some really... We've got Olympians. We've got CrossFit Games athletes. We have someone that managed... I'm not going to name the name because I think we'll get sued, but we have someone that managed 28 gyms across the UK, which I can barely manage 2 people. You know, we have got successful business owners, we have got philanthropists, we have philosophers, we have personalities, we have sports personalities coming on. So this is the thing, we just want to try and show you the journey that other people have had, that you can kind of cherry pick the coolest wee bits and add them to your own journey, because we're all in this together at the end of the day, as cliche and as gay as that sounds. It's so goddamn true. So we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. We're going to aim to roll out one podcast every week.
Yeah.
And I think we can do it.
Absolutely.
And we don't know what day. Maybe a Wednesday. Probably same day as the vlog. But yeah, keep following us. Any feedback you have, please let us know. If you've got anyone that you want on the show, please let us know. If you think that you're going to be a good fit for the show, give me a message. My email is lewis@olyclothing.com. Will not give yours out because you'll be inundated. But yeah, don't think that you'll have a big ego emailing me, because if you find somewhat success and you kind of you think you have something good to say, come on board and we'll get you on. But yes, Paddy, if you want to say goodbye to everyone.
Yes, I want to say goodbye. anything we've spoken about today will be in the show notes below, or if you're watching on YouTube, will be in the description box below.
Big time.
I'm sure there's a couple of people we've mentioned and things we've mentioned, and all their links will be down in the show notes below.
And I'll leave you with the company motto, which is small victories repeated daily. Thank you.